Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. So let's wait for another minute or two and then start for other people to join. I see there are people still joining.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've got people from all over the place. This is great. Thanks for being here, everyone. Let's see. And it looks like we've got folks literally from all over the world.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Wow. All right. A lot of people still joining, it looks like, as well. And gentlemen, I've got my coffee and my water. How about you guys? You all set up over there?
Yep.
All right, good. Perfect.
No coffee for us. It's late in the afternoon already.
It's maybe too late for coffee for you. I'm just getting started. It's 9 o'clock on the Pacific, the beautiful Pacific coast where I am today.
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
So let's start. If it's good with you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. For those who don't know me, my name is Luca, and I'm the head of sales in Agremo. And today I will be a moderator of this webinar. So here with me today is Brian Sanders, the president of HSE UAV. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us here.
Yeah.
So also Vladimir, the CEO of Agremo.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Vladimir. Thank you for being here. And today we have a very interesting topics where we will discuss about the drones, how to make drones to dollars, as our topic says. Vladimir will present the very interesting use case he did with the mapping spraying drones in Agremo. And we will have after that the Q&A session. So before we start, just like to remind you on the housekeeping rules. So this webinar is planned to be approximately 45 minutes, but we have plenty of time. So all the questions that you have, please write it down in the questions button. It's on the right down corner. And also feel free to write in the chat. So at the end of the presentation, we will have the Q&A session where we will answer all those questions. This webinar is recorded and the link will be shared via email for all who are registered. And also, I would like to invite you to stay until the end, because at the end of this webinar, we will give one free Agremo license to someone of the participants who are there. So just wanted to make the table of contents at the end. So the introduction part, we will do the business perspective. We will discuss about drones and use cases, some technical insights, and we will move to Q&A. So without any further delay, Brian, floor is yours. Please go ahead. Yeah.
All right, great. All right, so good morning and good afternoon and good evening from everyone all over the world. I'm just looking at these locations that y'all are dialing in from. A lot of folks here in the U.S. Where I am, and yeah, just glad you're all here with us. So thanks for being here. And I'm going to be looking really at the questions tab. So please, 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 throughout this webinar. Oh, I see Zach's got a question. Zach, we got you. You can't hear me say that right now. I can tell by what you messaged, but Zach, we'll have someone respond to your question. Everyone else, again, if you've got questions for myself or any of the team here, use that questions button. I can't look at the chat and the questions at the same time, so I'm not looking over at the chat box, okay? So yeah, as Luca had said, I'm Brian Sanders. I'm the president of HSE UAV. We're based in Orlando, Florida, and want to walk you through a few things, kind of takeaways, keynotes about our company and what we do. We've been around since 2009. I was 6 years old, and we're a one-stop shop. So we offer DJI, XAG, and TTA spraying drones. we're focused on agriculture. That's what we're really dedicated and committed to. We also help folks from start to finish. So anything that you can think of that has anything to do with setting up a great spray program, we've got your back. That's FAA guidance for folks here in the US. That's Part 107 and 137. We have leasing and financing. We help people get trained and proficient so they're ready to rock and roll on day one. We also have drone protection plans. And shocker, we also offer the Agremo software suite. We're really excited to be Agremo's partner in bringing this just epic product to market, this solution. We're also backed by some really phenomenal people that are a part of our dealer network that's nationwide and growing quickly. And then our company also, for us to be really great and supporting out our customers, we have to know how to use these aircraft ourselves, a day in the life, so to say. So we also have a spraying services business as well, called Homeland Environmental Solutions. Let's see. Okay, Zach, you fixed it. Yay, rock and roll. All right, cool.
Hey, Brian, just one question. So you offer the complete course for getting the FAA licenses, like the full support guidance on how to get it for both flying and spraying?
That's right. Yep. So there's two different aspects of that. And so Part 107, which everyone needs in the U.S. for commercial drone operations, and then there's a Part 137 that's exclusive. I'll try to make it sound like a good thing, but it's specific for people that are doing applications from the air. And we help customers with all of the paperwork, all of the petitions and submissions to the FAA. We help them come up with their standard operating procedures, their maintenance manuals, their safety cases, all of those things. So we help customers with all of that. It's complex, so it really needs some expertise along the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was asking. It's a bit complicated. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Cool. Please go ahead. Sorry for.
All right. Yeah. No problem. So I think the other part is why precision ag and why now. And some of this might be news for some of you, but I don't think it will be. Really increasing sensitivity to pesticide use among all consumers globally, and then increasing labor and pesticide costs is really plaguing growers and producers right now. And then we have increasing competition and demand. It's like this perfect storm of we've got to really transform how we're growing and producing food. And our company, and this is really in line with how Agremo, works and functions, but we really think about, precision crop care as early detection and early treatment, like cancer. If the whole thing is go out there, scout, find out what's happening in your body, and then you find it early, you can treat it early at less cost and with better results. And we really believe that data-based actions, historical insights and data and wisdom is super valuable, but also data-based actions, now that it's available and easy, equals really, really, really high-performing results. And that's ultimately what we're up to. So this is a simple example. The price of glyphosate and glufosinate are 300% times more costly in 2022. And that's from a University of Arkansas study. It's in the bottom right-hand corner there, for that measurement. So in this case, this is a really simple case, but herbicide price of glyphosate, $60 a gallon or $45 an acre on a 400 acre farm. The price for herbicides and a pre-emergent on that 400 acres with the traditional method cost is 18 grand. The cost reduction, if you're spot spraying just where you've detected where those weeds are, then you could, in that case, if weeds are detected at 35% of that field, that farmer would use 65% less herbicide, which would result in an $11,700 savings in just 400 acres. So that's what really I'm always thinking about, what's the ROI for our customers and for our team, right? So this has to equals dollars at the end of the day. And you're going to hear about that all this today in this webinar. I keep wanting to say this morning, but that's not true for a lot of people here. It's just true for everybody. That's right. Okay, now this is a throwback. I'm sure a lot of you on the webinar will recognize this interesting looking character, the Goblin King, from a famous movie in the 80s. But it's, I wanted to share some of what, if I had a crystal ball, what would the future of precision ag be? And then what should folks consider when choosing the right analytics tool? Then what stands out about Agremo? So I think first off, the future of precision ag is really what I've shared already. Making hard data-based decisions. Actionable data is very different than just insights or ideas or generic data. And then what should folks consider? So I suspect that we're going to see a lot more of a seamless integration between data capturing aircraft, data processing software and systems, and then application systems, and then maybe even some post-scouting systems. And Agremo this leads into the next point. Agremo is the best software and the best solution I've ever seen, where the seamless integration of data connects all of the parts. And that's why we're so excited to be on this webinar with y'all and to offer this particular software. What are some things to consider? Well, you're going to see some really great examples of how Agremo works in the software, the interface. Obviously, the interface is a big deal, so is cost. But really, I think it's about, what kind of data can I get that's actionable? And then what can I do with that data? Don't just tell me a good story. I've got to be able to make actions with it. I'll say that over and over and over. And those are the things that really stand out about Agremo. The most important thing to me, I think, is really the machine learning and the AI aspects of Agremo. It's not just take hard, raw data like most of the software out there does today, which is great. But it's really about, okay, we have this data that's right in front of us, but what can we learn from crowdsourcing data and AI and machine learning, which is what Agremo brings in, which is what I think really propels it to like next generation stuff, is taking all of the hard data and then merging it with machine learning and AI that gives you really powerful predictions, forecasts, and that's what's really brilliant about it. And I thought about that years ago when I first started learning about Agremo. Was like, oh, they've got it figured out. And anyway, I don't want to jump ahead, but there's some other things you're going to see in a couple minutes that I think you'll really like. That's what stands out about Agremo. Similar to my company, the other thing that I love about Agremo is that they're 100% agriculture. It's all they live, sleep, breathe, and think about. All their R&D dollars go into agriculture work. They're not splitting their time, trying to think about all these other data sets. It's all agriculture. And I think as a customer, that really, really, really makes a big difference. On to the next here is just a slide that has our email and phone number. If you have any questions or need support or want to learn more, if you're in the US and you're like, hey, I want a demo of this product or I want to sign up for it, you can do that right on our website. In a moment, I'm going to post a direct link to our website for y'all too. And that's all I've got. If you have any questions, you can type them in that questions button and I'll respond as Vladimir goes. And and I'll be right here with y'all. Okay, Vladimir, I'm turning it over to you.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's been a really amazing turnout. Brian, thank you very much. That was a lot of very good information. So quickly, just a sort of few words about myself and what we do. My name is Vladimir, and I'm the owner of a company called Agremo, based in Serbia. The company was founded about 2 years ago, and we offer crop monitoring and crop spraying services using DJI's agricultural drones. To date, we've completed about 1,000 hectares of spraying, the bulk of which has been spraying seed corn for some major seeding companies in Serbia. We've covered some of their production plots as well as their hybrid selection plots and have received very positive feedback about the efficacy of these drones, which has been very, very amazing. And now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Agris T30, just a few basic characteristics or some basic information about the drone. As the name suggests, the drone comes standard with a 30-liter spray tank. It has 2 plunger type pumps, 16 nozzles, and that gives us a maximum flow rate of about 7.2 liters per minute. Now, at a application rate of about 15 to 20 liters per hectare, this gives us an average working rate of about 1.5 hectares per cycle or per flight, and approximately 9 hectares per hour. Now, this spray tank is very easily changed out for a spreading system for spreading artificial fertilizers or seeds. Now, some of the advantages using these agricultural drones, and aside from being the owner of the company, I'm also one of the operators of these drones. So one of the big concerns for me was the health benefits of utilizing these drones. Obviously, because we are generally at a safe distance from the field which is being treated, the risk of exposure to chemicals is largely reduced. Put together with wearing appropriate personal protection equipment, I think the risk is minimized. Other advantages, obviously, drones don't cause any soil compaction, which is one of the leading causes of soil degradation associated with modern agriculture. Drones don't trample any crops. They're suitable for use after heavy rainfall while the ground is still wet. And what that means is that we can apply the treatment at the right moment. We don't have to wait for a day, 2, 3 for the ground to dry up before the pesticides can be applied. We also use 90% less water and about 75% less fossil fuel. Now, with Agremo analytics and variable rate application technology, we finally are able to drastically reduce the amount of pesticides and other agrochemicals used. That obviously lowers input costs, has numerous environmental benefits, and also meets the European Green Deal target of halving the amount of pesticides used in agriculture by 2030. Now we'll look at the two use cases that we've recently done. One of which is variable rate application of fertilizer, and secondly, we'll look at the spot spraying of herbicide. Before we do that, I'd just like to take you through the workflow for creating these maps using the drones and Agremo software. It really is a simple process. We, on this particular day, started off by using the Mavic 3 multispectral drone for image collection. It really is an amazing machine. It made really quick work of collecting the data needed for the analysis. Once those images are collected, raw images are uploaded to the Agremo software, where they are stitched and positioned. This process took approximately 15 to 20 minutes on this particular day. As soon as the images are positioned, you simply receive a notification saying that the map is ready for use. The next step was to draw the boundary, the field boundary, which basically allocates an area that is going to be analyzed when using any of the Agremo analysis. Now, the interesting thing over here was from start, our plan for the day was to only do the Agremo plant vigor analysis. However, as soon as we looked at the data collected by the drone, we realized that there were some other interesting anomalies that we didn't see previously. Upon further investigation, we realized that there was quite a lot of weeds in certain parts of the field that were not clearly visible from a eye-level sort of a perspective looking at the field. So simultaneously, we ran both analysis, even though the plan for this particular day was only to do the fertilizer application. So once, like I mentioned, once the maps are positioned, you simply request the analysis that you require. In our particular case, this is the plant vigor analysis. That process took about 1 hour 30, 1 hour 45 minutes. At this stage, we were again notified that the analysis was ready for review, and the result of the analysis is basically this report that you see to the right of the slide. So we can clearly see the field that was being analyzed, the different colors obviously representing different plant vigor that was detected on this field. And you can quite easily or quite clearly see the areas denoted in yellow, which is poor vigor, green, good vigor, and the areas in blue represent excellent vigor. Now, using the Agremo tool, we can allocate different spray rates based on these results in order to create the prescription maps. And if we look at the following slide, this is what the prescription map actually looks like. So we consulted with our agronomist and came up with a strategy of dividing the field into 2 specific zones. In this case, yellow tiles represent the areas where the analysis detected excellent and good plant vigor, and the orange zones represent the areas of poor plant vigor and no vegetation. Using the Agremo Ag tool, we basically prescribed different doses of fertilizer to each zone, basically applying the maximum amount of fertilizer in the yellow zone and the minimum prescribed on the label for the orange zone. Once these prescription maps are created, it's a very straightforward process of importing them onto the Agros T30 controller. This literally entails copying the RX and shape folders directly onto the DJI's T30 controller's SD card. The only thing I'd like to mention here is that they have to be copied into the DJI folder. Now, as soon as the controller is powered up, you'll be automatically prompted to import these files onto the controller. And once again, looking at the screenshots on the right-hand side of the slide, you can see that simply by making a few selections, the import is complete. Once again, what I'd like to mention over here that while importing the prescription maps, you need to select default units and a resampling rate. Now, because we were using Agremo software and all our prescription maps are based in hectare values, obviously the default unit was set to hectares, and resampling max value, which is suitable for spot spraying. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, there are 2 folders that are imported onto the controller. One folder contains the prescription map, while the other folder contains the shape file, which is used for the creation of the field boundary for the area that's going to be sprayed. Importing the shape file is you follow the same steps. It's just as easy, and there's absolutely no further selections that are needed. So at that stage, you're pretty much ready to get your drone set up for the application. And once you're ready, once you power on the controller, load the field and the prescription map, this is the result you get. Again, on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the screenshot of the controller. The green areas represent all the areas that are going to get the full amount or the maximum dose, which we prescribed of 20 liters per hectare. And the blue zones represent areas that are going to be getting 10 liters per hectare. Some basic field details, the crop in this instance was winter wheat. The area was 2.15 hectares. Now, if we had have used a flat spraying approach, in other words, if we didn't vary the dose at all, we would have used a total of 43 liters of mix, which would have included 8.6 liters of foliar fertilizer. Using Agremo's analytical software and variable rate application or prescription maps, we achieved a real life saving of 11.6% on fertilizer, which equated to, in this instance, about 1 liter of fertilizer saved on the area of 2.15 hectares. Now, the interesting thing about this, or something that I'd like to point out, is that with fertilizer application, the goal isn't necessarily to reduce the amount of fertilizer used to the maximum. The end result is really the effect that fertilizer is going to have on the crop. So on this slide, we can see the same field. The map on the left was taken on the day that the fertilizer, variable rate fertilizer application was done, which, if memory serves me correct, was around about the 30th of March. And maybe we can see a little bit better over here the percentages or hectare values for each individual zone. And we can see that the excellent vigor represents around about 0.35 hectares or 16% of the total field area. Good vigor, 1.24 hectares, representing 57% of the entire area. And if we compare those results to the results of the map that was created 2 weeks after the application of foliar fertilizer, we can see vast improvements, especially when we look at poor vigor. The percentage has gone down from 23, almost 24%, down to only 12%, which is the whole point of applying fertilizer in any case. The added benefit to this exercise was that getting such good results after only 2 weeks, we also managed to save almost 12% of the cost associated with fertilizer. Now, if we go on to the next slide, we'll talk about the spot spraying. And again, I'd like to mention that we never intended to do this to start off with. This was, I guess, a byproduct of doing or using Agremo software, using drone technology to scout the field initially in any case. Basically, what happened after we realized that there was quite a lot of weed on the plot, we contacted the farmer and asked him if he would be open to us also trying out spot spraying on his field. He obviously agreed. Initially, we thought that the saving would be somewhere in the region of about 50%. However, the actual saving that we achieved ended up being way more than what we anticipated, and we managed to save 63.5% of herbicide. Now, figure-wise, we only used 0.8 liters of herbicide on a 2.15 hectare plot. If we had have applied a flat spraying method, we would have basically used 2.15 liters of herbicide. Now, the whole point of this presentation was how do we turn drones into dollars. So just to give you a dollar figure, the actual saving that we achieved was $20.32 per hectare in this instance. For the total field that that came to a total saving of $43.7. And if we multiply that figure and use it on a 100-hectare field, we would come to a total saving of $2,032 just on the cost of herbicide. It's obviously not taking into account the cost of manpower, machinery, and everything else that goes along with spraying operations. So we think that these are phenomenal results. Again, I'll point out that we never really expected to accomplish such a big saving. And we are very happy. And I think that's round about it for me. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And look forward to answering some of the questions later on.
Yeah, thank you, Vladimir. Thank you, Brian, for this great presentation. And really, the results are that were here were very, very good. And I was very interesting when we were looking at these figures and how the effectiveness of all the technologies were showcased here in this particular use case. So I would like just at the end here to point out some things that are specific about the Agremo, and as Vladimir described, maybe how to give you some idea of how you as a drone service providers or agronomists or consultants can use Agremo to support your primary business. And for the farmers, I believe that Vladimir already described very well how much you can save on the input costs. So I will want to point out some things about the Agremo. And as Brian also said in earlier, is that we are 100% oriented to the agriculture, and everything that we do is for the to provide the analytics and to solve some ag-specific use cases. So majority of our team is also coming from the agriculture, from the precision ag. So we are able to provide you with the full support from flying the drones, on how to use the crop analytics to solve some specific use cases, how to create prescription maps, how to put them in the spraying drones, or how to put them in the any other ground sprayers. So we have the unique analysis that are available only in the Agremo, the weed detection analysis, green on green situation. So like in this case that Vladimir described, when he mapped the field to request the plant vigor analysis, he noticed that there are some weeds in the field. So it was in the later stages, the crops were tall enough, and the software recognized the weeds, and he was able to create a prescription map. Vigor analysis that was used for the fertilizer is also unique on the market, because we are using here multiple parameters to provide the different vigor zones. So we use plant height, leaf color, leaf structure to get these different zones. Also, we have the green snap and lodging detection analysis. So I know in the US particularly, there was a lot of problem last year with the green snap. So we have the analysis that can specifically detect green snaps and lodging. So you can use this to get, to either calculate the yield loss, to calculate the insurance claims, and generally to see what is how is the field performing after the certain weather disasters or wildlife damage, stuff like that. We have also the ability to detect waterlogging and potential waterlog areas, so you can prevent the zones. And something that is our brand mark, our stand count analysis, which can be used on multiple crops, not just corn or soybeans. You can use it on wheat, barley, cotton, oats, sunflower, sugar beet. So we provide the three type of information: the germination rate, the average density, and the exact number of the plants per hectare. Plus, we have the ability to count plants that are planted with variable seed rates. And the one thing that I would like to talk about and give the attention is our experience on how the Agremo is used as a sales tool, and to describe some models that are being used worldwide. So what is the idea? So I described and tell you about the analysis that we can get, that you can request in Agremo. So the thing is about these analyses is that you can get multiple data from one map. So while you're still on the field, like Vladimir did, when you go out and do the spraying, you can fly your mapping drone, create a field and detect some specific things about the crop performance that you can then showcase to the farmer and present another way of getting the results and add additional crop analytics. So if you bundle this kind of data with your core products, whether it is ag inputs like seed and fertilizers, this is one model that we are working on with Bayer, KWS, and Adama, where they're bundling Agremo analysis with their core products to increase the sales and to decrease the churn. But it's the same. We have the same experience with the ag consultants, with drone service providers, like Vladimir did in this particular case. We can provide the additional value from the drone maps and use the time while you're still there doing the basic sprayings. You can fly the drone while you're mixing the tank. You can fly the mission and get the results put in the Agremo and add the additional value to the customers. Also, one thing that we offer is that it's cloud-based platform, which can be co-branded with your company logo. We have the option and the ability to open the view-only accounts for your clients, to share the maps with them, to share the results, to give them the access to their fields remotely, and also to communicate with your users by pointing out some problematic areas on their fields. As I don't know if you know, but I also wanted to emphasize here that we support all the drone manufacturers. We support RGB and multispectral maps. So we provide the full process from stitching images to processing images and creating prescription maps. So we provide the outputs for spraying for all the ground sprayers. We have the API with My John Deere Operations Center, so John Deere users can send directly the maps over there. And also, once you create the map is already compact to be imported into the DJI Agres drones. So you just need to simply copy paste the file that you will get from the Agremo, that folder, put it in the SD card or USB, and put it in the controller. And the new feature that we added recently is the monitoring maps with the satellite imagery. So it's not just the satellites maps, it's also the alert system that we developed. It's based on the NDVI indexes. So how this model works: you select your field, you're getting the weekly reports, weekly satellite imagery, and if there is a drop in the plant health, the software will signalize you that. We also added recently the weather forecast, so you can combine multiple sources of data or sources of information, in the Agremo, and do the comparison and analytics and offer that to the farmers. So let's start with a Q&A.
Hey, Luca, before we do, I know a lot of folks that are here joining us are custom applicators. They run a services business, and I wanted to see if we have a time for Vladimir to talk some about what's the bottom line difference for him running a services business, offering these kinds of data outputs. Do we have time for Vladimir to talk about some of that?
Yep, sure.
Cool. You're on mute, Vladimir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thanks for that. I just was, as I started speaking.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, if I understand your question, I'm actually busy reading the questions at the moment over here.
Yeah.
Question is more or less along the lines of how much would it actually cost you how much would I charge somebody for the service versus the saving
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, I want to
right.
hear how it benefits you as a service provider, right? We've talked a lot about how it impacts the growers and the producers, but like as a
No, for
service
sure.
provider, how much, how's it impact your business?
Well, it definitely offers another service that we can provide to the end users, right? Now, aside from that, everyone is generally looking at it from a cost-saving point of view. For me personally, I'm also very passionate about the environmental impact that all of this is having on the way that we produce food, right? From my perspective, it's definitely a service that I can provide to clients. Some of them, like I mentioned earlier on, are more interested in the cost saving rather than the environment. But that largely depends on where you are. It's also very difficult to talk about this because we come from almost, I don't want to say it, but two worlds apart. Serbia, depending on where you are located in the world, has a huge impact on how people see food production as a whole. From my perspective, thus far, the technology is very new. And we don't have a lot of drone operators or drones operating over here. So I think people are a little bit wary about the technology. Once they see the results, then they become very interested, obviously, which is awesome. But I think at the moment, we're still at that stage when people need to hear more about it, to see it firsthand, to see the benefits that it has before it becomes game-changing over here.
Yeah, I think that's well said. There's, and we're dealing with some of that here in the States. I think I lost you for a second. Yeah, sorry.
You did. I thought it was just me.
Yeah, no, it said your connection is weak. We're reconnecting, or I don't know. Anyway, I was thinking about for my services team, being able to offer a comprehensive end-to-end solution, right? And there's a lot of different ways to go to market with new technology. And, that's a whole nother webinar probably in and of itself. But, I think a lot about, being able to go and there's a ton of case studies on Agremo's website for everyone on this webinar. The case studies are brilliant. I mean, what Vladimir shared was so good. And there's a lot of other really good evidence about this technology and the dollars that it saves growers. But yeah, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate, that we are at a precipice of something and the very early stages of it. So yeah.
Hey, may I ask also one question for the Vladimir? Vladimir, who are your typical clients you're working with here? It's for me interesting because we are from the same country and we're speaking about the technology. Yeah.
No, for sure. So we've, as I mentioned during the presentation, the bulk of our work has actually been for large seeding companies with high value crops, right? Late on in the season when the options are limited, they can either utilize high clearance tractors, which are sometimes not the best solution purely from a perspective of logistics, right? That's also one of the reasons why I mentioned the hybrid selection plots. They're generally very small plots dotted all over the place. The purpose of them is to select the hybrids for the next season, but they have to be spread out over a large area because you're testing different seed types and different soil types, right? So I would say approximately 75 to 80% of our work during the last season has been literally spraying corn against European corn borer for seeding companies. We have obviously done quite a lot of work, wheat, canola, sugar beets as well. One very interesting case that we did have last year. We experienced sort of a week of non-stop rains. We got a phone call from a farmer approximately 300 kilometers away from us, and they had a real problem. They hadn't have been able to get into their field for a couple of days. They really needed to do this treatment. The day before, they ended up getting a couple of their tractors stuck. They phoned us and said, can we please come out and help them out? We went out there. It was a lot of work. 2 days we were walking around really muddy fields, but we accomplished the task. The awesome part was that after seeing this technology, the farmer literally went off and ordered these agricultural drones for himself, and they're currently using them on their field, or on their fields rather.
Great.
So,
yeah. Sorry if you want to.
No. That's about it. I think.
Hey, shall we start? We have here a lot of questions, so let's start. I don't know, Brian, Vladimir. There are a lot of questions for you guys. So if you want to choose something, please go ahead.
Yeah.
We have a question here. Do you need to calibrate the Mavic 3M camera before each flight, or it's done by the light sensor integrated on the drone?
Brian, do you want to take that one?
I don't. I'd have to look and see with the light sensor. I don't think that you have to calibrate. I think the light sensor is, Luca, that might be a takeaway from one of the techs. We've never had to do that.
If I might say something, we don't actually use the Mavic 3 multispectral. Our drones are Phantom 4 multispectral, and I know for the Phantom 4, you definitely don't need to do any calibration. It has the light sensor, which removes any need for calibration, and especially for use with the Agremo software.
Yeah, I also got the same answer from my from my drone pilot here, and he said, "Yeah, you don't have to calibrate Mavic 3M multispectral camera before the flight."
Sure. Great, good. There's a lot of questions about the different sensor types in here too, gentlemen, which I think covered some of this. Y'all got covered by Luca during that last part.
So I just want to say, what are the advantages using Mavic 3M versus Mavic 3 Enterprises? So we have a very good use cases with Mavic 3 multispectral, especially for those green on green situations to detect and differentiate weeds from crops to do the spraying. So all other analysis can be applied on RGB. But this was we have a lot of cases where M3M was really good in this particular green on green use cases.
Great. Yeah, that's excellent. All right, good. There's another couple things here about soil samples versus just getting analytics from the air. Luca, can you speak to that?
Sorry, can you? I was also reading. The question is about.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Y'all keep them coming, everyone. These are great questions.
So about the soil samplings.
Yep. People are just wondering how if that data comes into the equation at all.
We are not doing the soil analysis, so we just analyze the plants, and for the vigor analysis, we are using the plant height, leaf color, leaf structure, and canopy coverage to differentiate the zones. Within the application, you are completely free to put the rates that you want in each zone. So it's completely customizable. You just open the tools and put the rates. So it's up to you. In this case, Vladimir, we were consulting with the agronomists, right, to give the exact. Yeah. So we consult the agronomists. Also, what I like to emphasize. Sorry, just to add that in Agremo we are not replacing the agronomists. We are a tool for the farmers. So we cannot tell the exact chemical that should be used or the rates. It's for the growers and for the agronomists to decide, because they know those fields much better.
That's really well said.
So,
Yeah. So this is, as always, this is a portion, but you've got to go out and ground truth this as well, enlist the support of an agronomist. These are great questions. I'm going to add in a bit. Some of y'all are asking about case studies or just referencing. I'm going to give you the link in a moment on your screen for additional case studies too. I want to come up to, I'm scrolling. Let's see. This is from, I might say your name wrong, Burkak maybe. Have you used Agremo in rice fields? If you've used it, I would appreciate if you could share your thoughts. I'm going to drop in, I haven't used it specifically on rice, Burkak, but I'm going to drop in a link for you here that goes over all of the different analysis that Agremo is already programmed for, specifically in rice. And then on that page, there is a link to download the full analysis guideline. It's below the, there's an image or a visual chart about the analysis guideline. And there's a link right below that. And I suggest that you take a look at that, Burkak. I think you'll get a lot of good info on that. Cool. Okay, good. All right. What else do we see, guys?
If I might, there was, I've just got to find it. A question, a big fan of precision farming and saving costs, saving circa $2,000 per 100 hectares mentioned by myself. What would be the cost for the services for that 100 hectares for the farmer? Drone costs, Agremo costs, pilot costs. So that's a very interesting question. I think it's the actual cost would depend on where in the world you are. I believe that the rates vary drastically. In Serbia, we're charging for a 100 hectare field. You most probably, as all-inclusive package for this kind of a service, you'd most probably be looking at in the region of $35 to $37 per hectare. On 100 hectares, that would be about $3,700 for the job. Offset the $2,000 saving in herbicide, you'll be looking at end cost to the farmer of about $1,700 all inclusive. Brian, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I don't know what your pricing is in the States.
Yeah, typically, service providers are going to base everything on cost per acre here. And I would say that a package would be the best approach, to go to a grower with and say, hey, I'm going to do the analysis as well. And I'm a big fan of finding one of those really open and forward thinking growers, that's in your community, someone that's got a lot of influence, and going to them and say, hey, all right, what if you just pay me for my time? Or what if we go in on this together in exchange for you giving me, being a great reference or a testimonial so I can sell this service to other growers, and I'll do it for free for you for the first time. Or if I don't save you more than X, it's on me, right? I mean, you can come up with a lot of really creative ways, to go to folks with this. Yeah. And I think that's necessary, again, because we're at the precipice of this new technology.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm answering some questions about forestry. Lyle, those are great. There's Jared, I love Jared's question. Does Agremo convert to other units of measurement for us barbarians that don't use the metric system?
So yeah, I was reading that question as well. So yeah, Jared, in the Agremo app, when you set up your account, you select the metric system that you want to use. So we do support acres, feet, gallons, pounds. So yeah, we do.
That's a good one, Jared. Don't worry. It was one of my first questions too. I'm like, everything's in hectares and liters. I don't know what to do. Yeah, good question, Jared. Let's see here. So, and then Lyle asked again, what's the pricing scale per acre to charge a producer to fly a field? Numbers I've collected currently is $7 per acre, which included 3 flights in 1 growing season. Lyle, it's a unique question. We deal with this a lot in. Let me hit the button that says we're answering it live. Okay, Lyle, it's a good question. Typically, the way we price things is we look at what's our hourly cost to be there, including equipment, time of getting there, fuel, vehicle, my labor, of course, insurance, taxes, marketing. I think of all those things and I figure out what's my hourly nut that I have to crack, if you will. And then we work it backwards and we say, okay, well, if that hourly nut is $350 an hour for just giving you an idea, then if I can do 20 acres in that hour, there's a per acre rate. You can't go to growers. You probably know this, but you can't go to growers and talk about per hour because they have no clue, and that's not the world they live in. But that's how we do it. So we actually start from the back of what's our total cost and what's our profitability that we're out to achieve, and then we figure out what's our productivity per acre, and then that's our per acre cost. Hope that gives you some guidance, a perspective. And I also think, Lyle, those factors change so much based on where you are in the country, your cost of equipment, your cost of labor, taxes. In Florida, labor and cost of doing business is much less expensive than it is in Washington State, where I am right now. So it really, really varies a lot. But that's the route that I would go. Now, I also encourage you to look at it from folks, from a grower's perspective, is really it's all about an ROI. So if I charge you $7 an acre, but I'm saving you, $47 an acre, like that's a really damn good use of your money to the grower. Lyle, let's pop back to your other question about Luca. This is going to be a question for you. You're smarter than me.
About the forestry and seedlings. Yeah, we do have the solution to count seedlings, and we are working a lot with the Douglas fir, Western hemlock in the Pacific North of the U.S. And it's your question was also about the seedlings. So what's the issue here with counting trees is that they are small and the weeds are covering them. They're hard to be detected, even when we are looking at the map and also for the software. So plants should be at least, I would say, 2 year old to do the most accurate counting, because when you cut off the forest, there is a lot of residues from the older trees that are there, a lot of bushes, a lot of vegetation. So I would say that the best time window to do this is in the dormant season. But if you want to get the most accurate results, you should just wait for a 1 year or 2 years, and then we can go and do the countings.
Good, that's great. Want to come back up here also to you're welcome, Lyle. Absolutely, our pleasure. Great question. Tyson asked about, he says, I know you're not agronomists, but have you, any of you tried a quarter or half dose of fungicide with herbicide applications to reduce the stress when applying herbicide? I can't speak to that. Haven't done that, haven't tried that. And I am not qualified, Tyson, to provide that advice. Okay. But Luca, Vladimir, any input that you have there?
From my side, I would like to reiterate, we never work alone. In other words, I've never chosen the herbicide or any other pesticides for that matter, nor do I simply don't have the training required to do that. So we haven't tried this method of mixing fungicide with herbicide to reduce stress. And again, I would leave that entirely up to the agronomist that's in charge of looking after the field to make that decision. In a nutshell, we basically provide a service of, you can think of it as a rent-a-car. We'll make sure that the intended area gets sprayed. We don't have the necessary knowledge to make these kinds of recommendations at the end.
Yeah, that's great. Cosmin, I'm going to pop over to your question. You asked, Vladimir, did you find any products that cannot be sprayed with drones? So I think there's two different aspects of that for us, Vladimir, right? One is a regulatory component of what's lawful to spray. That's going to be based on your locale, Cosmin. In the United States, you can apply, and there's some going back and forth between states and the EPA about this, but typically you can apply any pesticide that has an aerial label, an aerial instruction on the label. Then there's one of the most respected names in the U.S. On the EPA side that says no, actually you can apply anything as long as it doesn't say you cannot apply it by air, but you have to figure out the application rate, the dosage, et cetera, on your own based on testing and efficacy and mitigating drift. So, Cosmin, you should check in your local rules and regs for that. Vladimir, can you speak to the viscosity or products that you don't recommend, or that you haven't effectively been able to spray with drones?
We have had a couple of instances that we haven't been able to spray. Our procedure is generally to mix a small jar and let it sit for at least 15 to 20 minutes before actually putting it through the drone. And like I said, we've had a couple of instances when, before even putting any of the pesticides into the drone, we realized that the mix really wasn't mixing adequately enough. On one occasion, unfortunately, it happened after the drone was loaded, and we obviously had to clean out the whole system, which was fantastic, but it happens. So there definitely are. Let me rephrase that. I think it's very important to follow a set procedure for that very reason. Like I said, a simple jar. While you're getting the drone ready, you leave it somewhere in the pickup, and just before you're ready to start the application, you can check whether the mix has started separating or not.
Yeah, that's good. Also, Cosmin, one other thing I'll add to what Vladimir is saying is that it really also varies based on the aircraft. So the original T-30s had mostly diaphragm, traditional pressure-based pumps, whereas now most of the new ones are more of a peristaltic style pump. So even your more viscous, thick chemicals can be sprayed or dispensed much easier now. So it also varies based on the hardware that you're using. Yeah, good question there. All right, gentlemen, what's the next question you want to tackle here?
So, this is one question from Victor. Considering the spray drones are relatively expensive for those trying to break into the agriculture sector, are there instances where just the data capture is a good service on its own, or do we need to have the spray drones to have any hope in the industry? Victor, no. There are a lot of farmers who are asking for this service. I can tell from my personal experience. I mean, this whole story with the spraying drones started 2 years ago, and we were in the industry since 2015, just simply providing the crop analytics like stand count, vigor, elevation models, damage detection analysis. So I still believe there is a plenty of market for the mapping drones and for doing the mapping and to provide the crop analytics. So we have the question about the XIG as well.
Yep, I'm answering that. I'm just texting it back here. Let's see here. Okay, great. All right.
So I don't know if XIG, you also sell the XIG. So I don't know if they have the variable rate.
There are ways to move that data into the XAG system. It's just more cumbersome. It's one of the downsides on the XAG product line right now. And we're in talks with XAG about this pretty regularly. And us and everyone else that sells them worldwide is pushing them for the same, to make easier integration with stuff like this. it is much more turnkey between Agremo and DJI right now, but there are ways to do it with XAG. It's just more cumbersome. Oh, and Lyle, yes, you're very welcome. I love that. And yes, you beat me to it. I gotta hit the button. Our T50 is on its way. It's already in the US. It's just making its way to our office. And then we're going to be doing a big T50 versus XAG P100 Pro comparison video. Yes, you got it. Stay tuned. Let's see. Oh my gosh, John, that is the question. That's the question that keeps me up at night right now, John. There's a lot that's happening in the industry right now to responsibly verify the security of Chinese-made drones. I'll put a link in a moment about a bunch of third-party independent experts that have tested the security of DJI drones. And I happen to be part of a big task force that represents the entire industry that's going to work on this particular topic. Yeah, it keeps me up at night. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, good. All right, let's get back to other questions on Agremo here.
How many?
Yeah, that's a good one, Luca. Go for it.
Yeah, how many hectares can be processed at the same time? Can we do 100 hectares simultaneously? Well, it depends on the type of the drone. So, Vladimir, you can also correct me here, but it depends on the type of the drone. The latest information that I asked my pilots to tell me, because I received a lot of questions from the users on about the setup and how much can you accomplish. So with the Mavic 3 multispectral, for example, I know that with one battery life, which is around 32 minutes, if you fly it on 260 or 270 feet with 75% overlapping, you can map around 100 hectares with one flight.
If I may, just to add on to the question, can we process a map of 100 hectares at a time?
In Agremo, yeah.
Yes, there's no limitation on the size of the map that can be processed.
We processed much larger as well. So yeah, no limitations on the size. Okay, and there are a few questions on how to present the technology to the farmers in different countries. It's from Chile, from the Turkey. Well, it's not easy to answer. I think it all depends on the type of the customers and type of the farmers that you're approaching. But the savings are always a good hook for the farmers to tell them you want to use the less chemicals. Also for the spraying drone is that you won't destroy the crops if you do the spraying during the mid-season. I believe that also this information about the stand count after the planting is something that every farmer is interested in, so they can do the early yield estimates, evaluate the seed quality, and also to calculate the yields. So from my experience, what was always the situation where the farmers were interested in the technology is when the problem occurs. So what we give is also the monitoring with satellites that I told you. So the system can send you the alert and say, okay, you can go out to the farm and say, you have the problem in this field. I will go out, map it with the drone, or do an inspection to see what's going on. So when they see the problem, then when they become interesting. And I believe it's with every industry and everywhere. Why are we buying softwares and solutions to solve the specific problem? But we need to be aware of the problem in order to look for the solution. So that's my point of view. I hope that helps.
Yeah, and I'll just add to it also that when it comes to getting into a new industry, right, or talking to new growers, there's a lot of questions in here about this. I mentioned earlier, I think it's really smart to find someone that's open to it and someone that's well respected and well known in your industry, and that's someone that's willing to, to be your beta plot or your beta tester, and to work with them, and because you're going to learn too. You're going to have a lot of learning to do yourself, and as long as that person's really willing to say, yeah, oh my gosh, here are the results. Like Vladimir is a perfect example of this, and all those other case studies that I linked to earlier, y'all. But I think that's the right approach. And I think if you go into it and to that person and say, I know this is new and I know there's questions, let's team up with a local university ag extension specialist or a local agronomist, and have them be part of this, beta. And then once you've got that under your belt, I think then the world really is your oyster at that point. And I think that will really crack things open for you. Yeah, that's how we got into spraying drones. I mean, heck, it's been 10 years, right? And that was where we started. We had to go to people and be like, I know this is a crazy idea, but can we test it with you? And we're right, like that. So cool.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because 10 years later over here, I'm going through more or less the same thing.
Well, I think we answered all the questions. Thank you all for asking this question. I believe it was very interesting conversation, and I hope you enjoyed. So, as I announced earlier, we will now give one free license to the fastest participant here.
Wait, Luca, wait. Sorry, before you do, people want to know how much this cost, and we haven't talked about that yet. So how much do the Agremo packages cost, and how?
So okay, we
covered that.
Yeah. We have the three packages, which ranges from 1,000 to 5,000 US dollars. So I'll send you the exact package specification right after this meeting to explain.
And Luca, will everyone can we get that out to everyone, those packages?
Sure. Yeah, we'll send it. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, and y'all, that's a price. That's an annual subscription for 1 year.
Yes, it's annual subscription for 1 year. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
and one user as well, right?
One drone. One license is for one mapping drone. That's
there. You go. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Well, yeah. So here is how this will work. So we will give one crop monitoring light license, yearly license to the fastest person who answered the question. So right now, when I will change the slide and the question will appear. So please type in the chat. Type in the chat the answers, and the fastest one will get the light license. This license includes 100 hectares or 250 acres base area for mapping and analysis, and will display everything. So please be ready. Here is the question. So, what drone model was used for spraying in the webinar use cases? Okay, great. T30. Okay.
Okay, that was cheating. Whoever started there, you answered before you even asked the question. Someone's like, okay, it's a drone model. Let's do this.
From what I can see, it's what drone model was used for spraying. So yeah, Travis and Cosmin said it's M3M. It was done for the mapping, but for the spraying was T30. So Justin Brown.
Come on, Justin.
Is the winner.
That's right.
So Justin, we have your email. I'll reach out to you and to arrange this. So congratulations. I hope you'll enjoy it.
Awesome. You guys are cracking me up. That's great.
Well, that was great. So thank you all once again. I hope you enjoyed our webinar. You can reach out to us. Brian left his contact. I left my contact. You can add Vladimir. Vladimir, you have both LinkedIn
Sure.
And Facebook for any kind of tips. I'm free to do that.
And I'm adding another link, y'all, to the Agremo software on our website as well. So you can learn a little bit more about it. And then I also added the case studies earlier in the chat, so check that out. And then, yeah, Luca, when do we think we'll have the recording and everything out to everyone?
I believe in, like, how much does it need? Like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's sent directly.
Cool. Okay. It goes out automatically. All right. So y'all just keep an eye out on your inboxes for that. And then I'll hang out for another moment. If anyone else needs any other links or anything like that, any other information, we can hang out for another moment and we can send you links or whatever you need. Okay. Website is just agremo.com, agremo.com. Yep. Case studies, all the different, if you go to the solutions tab, you can see all of the different crops. Important to note, bottom left corner of that it says and more, and you can see all of the different crops that have really great data sets. Then when you click on that crop, you can see all of the specific data outputs that come or that are available with that particular crop. Okay. Yeah, you're very welcome, everyone. All right, great. We'll hang out for another moment. Okay, Luca, Vladimir, anything else from you guys?
I'm all good.
I'm fine.
Cool. All right. Thanks,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Have a good day.
See ya.